Okay, yeah. Good afternoon. You're on the Special Needs Podcast with our guest Monique Sparks. So, Monique, welcome to the show. And would you tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve? So we'll get into our podcast after that.
Yes, of course. First, thanks so much, PodcastPete, for having me on today. I'm so grateful to be here. As you said, my name is Monique Sparks, and I am the new Director of Outreach and Volunteer Services for McKenna Farms, where we have innovative therapies for special needs kids and young adults. And most of it does include horses. So that's going to be the thrill seeker here is the horses and special needs kids.
Yeah, there's a special connection between horses and special needs. I know you have horses in your background. Give our viewers an idea, like, did you ride horses? Did you train? What did you do with horses before?
Yeah, I do. I feel like this moment in time, this is a new role for me. And it's actually started when I was 6 years old and first got onto a horse. I mean, what little girl doesn't love horses?
Yes.
I started riding when I was 6 and started riding competitively, probably by the age of 8, and did so for the next 6 years. Competed in hunter and jumper and some dressage. Never had my own horse, but I'm very familiar with them, and they are magical.
I love that. Yeah, you're right about it. Because, actually the people that I know always would tell me about McKenna Farms because they were touched by riding and being involved in what they're doing. So when you're in your career, you're crushing it. Why McKenna Farms now?
I went through life, the past 12 years, I've been privileged of working with my husband's business and really forming community relationships in the area, Kennesaw, Marietta, Ackworth, and really enjoying making connections with businesses and with people. And it's been a wonderful go. I wanted to do something where every single day at a visceral level and at a deeper level, I was really impacting people's lives. For the past 12 years, I've been also a stay-at-home mom, essentially with a part-time gig with our business, taking care of my daughter. And now she's 12 years old. She's getting a little older. And I was looking for somewhat of a career. But that career had to make an impact. I didn't want to just do something for the money. It's really not about the money. It's about making a difference. And that's where I found myself at McKenna Farms.
That's awesome. Did you feel like when you say you want to make an impact, I have, in my podcasting short career, I've heard that in several podcasts. So when you come up with that, I want to make an impact, what were you thinking? Like, you had served, I'm guessing, many, many years before that, but what kind of motivated you to step out and get involved? Because being involved and being intentional is different than just saying, I want to make an impact. So how did the connection with McKenna come up?
That's just another part of the God story, honestly. My daughter goes to a charter school in Kennesaw, and I had been at a leadership meeting with some of the administration from the school, and I had a conversation with a woman by the name of Megan Hubbard, who her children are in school with my daughter. And she just mentioned what she did and that there might be this position coming open. And me having been connected in the community, I decided, well, tell me what you're looking for. I can maybe keep my ears open and my eyes open for the right person for that fit. When she told me the job description and what was involved, I had this response in my gut that, oh my gosh, I think this is exactly what I've been looking for. So at that point, it was right before Derby Day, a very busy time for Megan. So she said, let me get through Derby Day and I'll give you more information. And at that point, when she got in touch with me, I went and interviewed probably 10 days after that conversation and ended up getting the job the next day. So, and I had intentionally driven by McKenna Farms honestly all the time just to see the horses and to see the magic of what was happening with the children on there. And if you look back probably 30 years ago, I actually used to work for Horses and the Handicapped for a brief time, which was an equivalent program in Coconut Creek, Florida, where I was at the time. So it was something that was new not new to me. It was something that was ingrained in me with the horses, the special needs, and everything. And so it was just a God thing.
Yeah, that's unbelievable how you describe that, because usually I call it the Chick-fil-A interview model. It can take 6 months to a year to get on board with Chick-fil-A, and they put you through numerous interviews. It's kind of like people go off and get another job, and then they call you back and they said,
Yeah.
"Oh, you got the job." Well, I'm working for this other company, but they take their time. So let's go back to that interview. You're talking to, let's share the owner.
Her name is Jessica
Okay.
Moore.
So what was that when you guys were having that conversation? What was your heart telling you? What were you feeling when you were going through that process of talking to her about the position?
Before I got there, I convinced myself that if I didn't get the position, I would be okay with it, that there would be something else.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked in there, I really felt like it was the right thing. I actually had almost no doubt, in a humble way, that I was the right fit for that environment, because they truly want to accomplish something bigger than themselves. And I knew that I was going to be a part of that. I knew that I had the skills to work with people as a volunteer coordinator. I think I can encourage people. I can help people see the general why. So in having that conversation with Jessie, we just had an immediate connection. And I think that she realized that if there was anything that I wouldn't say I was lacking qualifications, but she just really immediately felt it was a good fit. And as a matter of fact, Megan had said to me earlier that nothing happens fast around here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So when I had the interview, I spent 3 hours there the first time, and then actually left for an hour to check on my 12-year-old who had in the meantime come home from school. And then I went back for another hour and a half to meet other staff and horses. And at that point, I got a message from Jessie saying, "We don't need to interview anybody else. We are happy with you, and we'd like to offer you the position." I was the first and only person they interviewed. So I am extraordinarily grateful. And when I texted Megan, she said, "I am stunned because, like I said, nothing happens quickly around here." So it was, let's just say it was meant to be.
Yeah, that just warms your heart. So what would you say to the viewers out there? You know how you hear people will say, "Oh, that was a God thing." What would you say to our viewers? Because that obviously with Megan's conversation with you, things don't move that fast.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, you know your qualifications, and you're kind of almost, I'm guessing, thinking, okay, this will be a process. It'll be like, hey, we'll go through all this, and then, whenever.
Right.
So what was it like when all of a sudden that next day, she says what you just shared? How did you feel when that happened?
I was just grateful. There's no other way to be just humbly grateful for this opportunity. I feel like it's something I'm really ready to embrace, and I'm extraordinarily excited about it. I am typically a passionate person. When I get involved in something, I'm wholehearted. And the way with which I've approached this so far, I 100% know that this is where I'm meant to be. And I've been there for all of maybe 4 days. I think I just got the contract, and I officially start on June 3rd. But here I am, doing the podcast. I've already got volunteers lined up, and it's just something that it's not about the money. So that part doesn't matter to me. I just really want to make a difference for McKenna Farms and the children that McKenna Farms serves, and the families.
For those that haven't heard of McKenna Farms, so let's describe what that experience is like, so they have a better idea of what McKenna's doing to reach out and connect with the special needs community.
Yeah, so they deal with a lot of different special needs from children, everything from spina bifida to ADHD to strokes to eating disorders. When you first enter into it, it's truly an experience, because you have the horses, you see children of all types and their families, typically with laughter, just approaching the barns with excitement. They have different therapy rooms. They have 25 different therapists, from occupational to speech to all kinds of therapies, 15 horses, 45 staff members across the board, and they just truly impact in a positive way all of these children through either the animal therapy, they also have therapy dogs, or just through the therapists themselves, but they all work together to provide these innovative therapies for the children and their families.
Yeah, I had a little experience. I didn't grow up riding horses or anything like that, but a friend of mine bought a rescue horse. And so he had them, what do you call it? When you house is boarded at this stable. And so we're out in the field. And so he's calling the horse. And this is a horse that's about 7 or 8 running straight at you. And I'm right there in the field and they're running right at you. I mean, that thing could have knocked me to another county. And so he basically gave it a command when they came real close. And I was like, whoo. I mean, I had to change my britches after that because it was like, these horses are big. I mean, they're huge. And the ability to connect, because I watched them afterwards feeding and cleaning and just doing the general things within the boarding house and stuff. And it was amazing just to be that close to a horse.
Yeah.
So like when the kids come, have you been a part of that yet? Or is that like coming? Have you seen the kids with the horses and all that?
I've seen them riding, but I know that they are introduced to the horses and they are typically going to be riding when they're at their therapy. They'll be riding probably the same horse because there is a bond that forms.
Yes.
And they will have a lead rider or a lead walker and a side walker, depending on their abilities. Those who have higher abilities will be able to ride independently. We have trails that they can do that, quiet places for them to be. But yeah, you're right. And that the fact that you could bond with an animal that has so much power.
Yes.
And for them to be more often than not, just so gentle and wanting to help, they almost have this understanding of the need of a child or a person with special needs. And they're just willing to do whatever it is to help them in that instance.
Yeah. There's nothing like it. If you like, I know people that these aren't special needs, but they're kids that have never had that connection with an outdoors type animal like a horse. Maybe they lived in the city or they've lived in an area where a lot of concrete, let's just say.
Right.
And then when they come, the person that explained it to me, it's like, it's a whole different world because they're just not used to seeing, like you say, a horse that has so much power to be so tame and so connected. So what happens? Like, well, let's go back to your new role, June the 3rd. What will that entail? What will you be responsible for doing?
I'm going to be responsible for, first of all, finding really, really committed and qualified volunteers. And by qualified, I just mean that you truly have a heart to serve. We will do all the training, and we need everything from caring for the horses, caring for the grounds, maintenance of the facility itself, sidewalking, lead walking, all of those things. 365 days out of the year, these horses are cared for by volunteers and volunteers alone. So it doesn't matter if it's Christmas morning, we still have to give the horses water and food and make sure their stalls are clean. So I'll be responsible for finding the volunteers for that. We have great events at the farm as well as camps. So I'll be finding volunteers to do that, training the volunteers, and really making sure the volunteers know that they are the heart of our program, that without them, we couldn't do it. So we really are looking for those people who want to make a tremendous impact in the lives of special needs children or who love to be around horses. If you don't like children so much, that's okay.
Yeah.
If you don't like horses so much, that's okay. We have something for everyone. But so that's going to be my role, is recruiting and staffing, making sure we're scheduling, and then maintaining really solid relationships with the community and our volunteers.
That is so good. We talk about it over at Overture that, the heart to serve is like when we retire, and the average age here, I don't know if it's exactly right, but let's just say give or take a year, is 80.
Okay.
So we find the ones like Tom Payne, who moved to another location. I was talking to his friend, and he was saying, "Oh, Tom does this. Tom does that." He's like always on the
Always
move.
doing something.
He's 90 years old, and he
Wow.
doesn't stop. He's at Must serving up there. He's at Tom just rattled off about 5 different places, because we were talking about the comedy club, of which I want people to know this. So Saturday morning, I get a text, and not a text, an email, that Monique buys 10 tickets. It's like, it was like Christmas Day, because I literally hadn't sold 1 ticket till Saturday morning, and the event is Wednesday. So I see this, and I'm like a kid just jumping up with joy that, hey, 10 tickets sold. And so I called you, and I bought 10 tickets, and it didn't happen. So we have a little glitch in the meetup. So I want to thank you personally for doing that, because we have Ken Kington coming this Wednesday, like 2 days. He called me today. He goes, "So what's up?" I said, "Well," he goes, "How you doing?" I go, "We're going to sell out. I don't know how, but we're going to sell out." Because he goes, "Well, how many tickets have you sold?" You don't need to know that. just
keep working on your
just know that I got my work cut out for me the next couple of days, but just plan on coming and speaking to a full house. So this is a little plug. If you'll,
I love Ken, and I know what you're doing.
I know, and
Melissa.
we want, yes, Melissa. Oh my gosh! Before I talk about the event, let me talk about Melissa. So we had a comic come to our overture, and the person that booked him got him off of Thumbtack. And anybody, it's kind of like, if I'm going to get a comic, I'm going to ask for referrals. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he was on my podcast, and I'm going, "So what's your plans for," when it was Monday night coming up? And he goes, "Oh, I got it scripted out." I said, "Oh, really? What do you mean? Like, what if somebody says something, a feedback from them? What are you going to do?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know." I went, "Oh, geez, I think we're in trouble." That's just what I was thinking. So fast forward to the event. Nice guy, but you got to know your audience. Yeah. This is seniors. You do not go like edgy stuff. We want solid, clean comedy.
Right.
5 ladies offer 1 joke, just same time. They hopped up and walked out. Oh, no. I'm going. And so he comes out afterward and goes, hey, he says, "How did I do?" I said, "I'm hungry." I didn't answer him, but I called him back. I said, "Look, you got to know your audience. You can't be saying this stuff. You got to be clean. You got to be it just takes a difference." So let me get to Melissa. So like 2 days later, I go to your school, and I'm talking to Melissa, and I'm telling her the story, and she goes, well, I'm a comic. I said, "Dang, you're kidding me." And so we're talking and laughing and just joking around. And so I know Lauren Black, who Lauren is the pastor of the church we're going to have it at. I mean, not the pastor's wife. So I'm saying, "Do you know?" I say, "You know Melissa?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I know Melissa." I said, "Let me just give me a sense. What happens when Melissa is like engaging with everybody?" She says, "Oh, man, you can tell she's got so many one-liners. She's like a cannonball ready to give all these, and she's holding back because, you're there doing a meeting. You can't be cracking jokes every 2 seconds, but that's just her natural way she does it. She's just a funny lady.
Right.
She just has that way. I don't know how, but she's like 5-6 years into it. She's a mom and has a career, but she loves comedy, and she does this. So anyway, so Melissa is organizing all this. I don't know where I got off track. I think
we were talking about Wednesday.
Yeah, I was talking about Wednesday. So here, I want to give a quick, because I got to sell some tickets. So
buy a bunch, buy 10 tickets. It's the easiest thing to do. You invite everyone you know. Because Ken Kington and Melissa Sarathi, you are going to laugh yourself out of there. They are fantastic. And so we bought a block of tickets, and we're bringing my mom and my stepdad, and then we're bringing some people from our life group from church,
Mm-hmm.
and some other people. So I would highly recommend. It's the best. It's less money than taking 4 people out to dinner, and you are
Yes.
going to have the best time that you'll have in a long time. So I highly recommend coming to see Ken and Melissa. And you have a third
Yes.
comic,
Larry Hauser
Larry
is
Hauser.
Lauren's dad. So Lauren Black, who goes to the same school as Monique and Christina, they go.
Our kids. We're
Kids.
not
Oh
in
yeah,
school.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
A little bit past
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got to get the right words there. Yes. So, yes. So Larry, I'm in his small group, and this is a guy who's ripped. So he raises 3 girls. Okay. You're either going to lose your hair or you're going to be a comic, because you have to have a sense of humor. I mean, he's got a full head of hair. So he is absolutely the funniest guy. We'll be sitting there, and it's just his natural thing. So this is his debut Wednesday night. So he'll start off. Melissa comes next. We're going to take a break at 6:30. That's when we want our vendors, and we have our podcast community, our schedule being rolled out. And then I just talked to Ken today. He comes on at 7, and he'll go to the bottom of the hour. And we have a special presentation at the bottom of the hour. But we do have, Monique said about it's just like going out for an inexpensive dinner. Guess what? We have hors d'oeuvres for you. Come at 6. By the time we take that first break at 6:30, the vendors will have tables out there where you can get to know them, because in our community, our parents' needs are changing fast. You can go from independent living to assisted living to memory care very quickly. And you got to know those stages of your mom and dad's growth, because you got to know who's out there to help them. So the vendors are going to be there to meet them. We have had them on our podcast. So it's not just like this person just shows up that night and they're a vendor. They've been vetted. Our community is safe. They've been on the podcast. You can learn their stories. They all have different podcasts. Some of them are 5, 6 podcasts in. But the point is, we have a resource guide that will be available to be ordered that night. So you can actually get a guide. Look, I need this. Look in there and see what you need. That way, you're busy in your career, but you still know what resources are out there. So yeah, please buy. Please buy. I'll be embarrassed like crazy if only 10 people show up. Monique's crowd. That's it.
No, we've got a group of moms from NCA that should have bought some tickets.
Was that Leah?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, she said. So we have at least 20 tickets sold.
And then Justin's going to bring his mom.
Okay.
So you better bring his mom.
Go in and do this, because I don't know what's going on with Meetup, but we'll figure it out. But the reason I say that is, oh no, I didn't do so. Hold on. Let me go back real quick, because I got to get them to. You can go to, let me see, podcasterpetecane.com. Okay. First, let me give money. McKennaFarms.org. You go to there. You want to serve? Go talk to Monique.
Just go to McKenna Farms. You can call. They're still putting my email together. Like I said, I am kind of brand new in the role, but you can speak to either Megan or Jesse, or anyone can help direct you, and then I can call you myself if you leave a message. Yeah, serving is so powerful. And, I just want to encourage you, if you're not serving anywhere, find a place to serve. And if you want to be involved in special needs and the connection that horses have with special needs, it's nothing you've ever seen before. That's true. It's magical, and you can be a part of that as a volunteer. So that's just a beautiful thing. So get a hold. You can even call me. I can connect you with Monique. But here's where I want you, Podcaster Pete Kane. You can go there and get tickets. Now, you go into Meetup or search Ken Kington on Meetup. So he has a podcast. No, he has a YouTube video. Here, I'll go to it right here. So scan this video. It's 45 minutes of
him in Salt Lake City. It's called Dry Bar. Unbelievable. You'll laugh until it hurts. He's 46 minutes of just constant, clean comedy. So if you're not sure, if you're not one of the only people in town that haven't heard of Ken Kington, go to that QR code, scan it, laugh, see what the quality, because if Ken was on a weekend, we couldn't afford him. Right. We still can't afford him, but Ken wants to give back to our senior community. So this is his part to really help our seniors laugh and have a good time. So it's going to be at Grace Community Church, or Grace Church, up at Town Center. And that's where Larry Hauser goes and where Lauren Black goes, and a couple of this. What's the name of the school?
Northwest Classical Academy is the school that you said Lauren Hauser, not Lauren Hauser. Yes.
Yeah,
Lauren
she used to be Lauren Hauser.
Lauren
yes, before she got married to David Black. Okay. And this funny, just because I'll go back to it in a second. So Lauren grows up with a dad that's just a comedian. Okay. What do you think happens when Lauren marries? Who does she marry?
Tell me she married somebody really. Okay, she did.
David Black is the funniest pastor I have ever in my 25 years. When I first went there, I couldn't stop laughing, but I mean, he's solid scripture preaching, Jesus. I mean, everything, but he has a way with humor, and he's throwing things all the time, one-liners, like, and I told him Sunday, I said, man, I mean, Lauren's dad set you up for Lauren. I mean, yeah, Lauren's dad set you up for Lauren, because she's going to be just like you, and you're a absolute hilarious in everything he does. So anyway, I got a little off track, but 6 o'clock to 7:30. That's the routine. We will have light hors d'oeuvres from 6:30 to 7. You'll be able to mingle with the vendors. We'll introduce our podcasters, and then Ken will come on at 7, and we'll be at 7:30. So if you're like, hey, is it going to be late on a weekday? You'll be home by 8:30. So it's a night we're respecting our seniors, because we go to bed a little bit earlier than normal. So let's go back as we finalize up. Okay. So go to PodcastPete, buy 10 tickets, $100. I mean, hey, look, $100 to laugh your head off and entertain your friends. Man, that's about as low cost entertainment I've ever seen.
And it's cheaper than therapy, probably more effective.
Yes, that's good. Yes, exactly. One therapy session is $100.
And all you're going to do is cry. And
exactly. So true. Oh, I love that. Okay. Take note of that. Cheap as one therapy session, same cost as one therapy session.
And more effective.
Yes. Laughter just warms the heart. Same with McKenna Farms. So as we, I want to be respectful of your time. I'm trying to go back to this. Okay. McKennaFarms.org. Let's send off Monique with the biggest bang. Volunteers coming in. Just say, I saw you on the podcast, Pete. Hey, look, when we see the views, people ask me, like, how many views do we have? I said, 2.
Hey, both people volunteered.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
More volunteers than I've gotten
exactly. And it doesn't, numbers it's quality of people.
Right.
So we want you, this is what I've been saying. Share this with your friends. Take this video, share it. If people have not been, look, everybody wants the light shined on what they're doing. So there's some people that don't know about McKenna Farms. So it's your responsibility. Put this video and podcast in the hands of people that can either serve or be served by McKenna Farms. And then look up Monique Sparks. Just Google her.
And know McKenna Farms is on the Paulding Cobb line. So it's very, very close to West Cobb. So it's convenient for anyone West Cobb, Marietta, West Marietta, anything like that. It's right there on the East Paulding line.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to be respectful because I know you have to get home. with your daughter coming home.
Yeah.
Christina, thanks for picking up.
Yeah, thanks for
Monique.
getting asking home for me, Christina.
She had told me at Rotary, she goes, yeah, we alternate. Like, I said, why don't you join Rotary? I said, well, I lose my carpool partner. I said, oh, yeah, that's kind of, have to wait a couple of years because, yeah, you have to trade off responsibilities. So definitely getting back to being a little bit more serious. Okay, there it is, McKenna Farms. We want to thank you for waiting for me because I was late for my own podcast. That's
a secret.
Yeah. Okay. We won't go into why. Okay. So before we leave, tell our viewers what would be the one thing you would want them to take home from our time on this podcast.
I think you put it well. It's just that serving is so important, whether it's McKenna Farms or whether it's if you go for a walk, pick up trash on the sidewalk. It doesn't have to be something that takes a very large commitment, but I feel like these days people are so focused on themselves and their own troubles. Whereas I find that when we pour ourselves outward, we don't seem to focus so much on what's going wrong in our lives. Mm-hmm. And we can truly make a difference, not only in the lives of those that we touch, but in ourselves, because it takes the focus off of us. So whether it's McKenna Farms or whether it's Musk Ministries, whether it's Mostly Mutts, anything else that you feel worthy, that really draws you in, find somewhere to serve, even if it's just for a couple of hours a month.
I love that. Dang. That's what you call, this is a baseball term. You knocked it out of the park.
Oh, thanks, Pete.
So
no
thank you.
Either.
Thank you. Yeah.
Unscripted.
I know. So that's so good. You're natural because you share in your heart. And that's what we love. So thank you so much, Monique, for being a guest on the PodcastPete podcast.
Thanks, Pete. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye now.